This program is brought to you by the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC.
This is NDDC Today.
Good evening. Nice you could join us again today on NDDC Today, the official news platform of the NDDC. It was a solemn weekend for the NDDC management and staff as they all turned up en masse to witness the interment of the late Acting Executive Director of Finance and Administration of the Commission, late Ibanga Basi Etang in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. We shall bring you highlights of the burial ceremony. Last week, the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting, chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, approved the funding of the forensic audit exercise of the NDDC. Who will be responsible for the funding? We shall find out in this episode of the program. Rice production is being given a major boost in the Niger Delta through the efforts of the NDDC. What is the Commission doing to promote the cultivation of this staple food in the Niger Delta region? Find out in today's program. Plus, looking back at some strategic projects of the NDDC in Akwa Ibom State to see how they impacted the beneficiaries. All these on NDDC Today. Stay with us. It was indeed a sad weekend at the NDDC as all roads led to Uyo, Akwa Ibom State capital, where the remains of a late Acting Executive Director of Finance and Administration of the Commission, Chief Ibanga Basi Etang, was laid to rest in his country home, Uyo. Our team was at the burial and filed in this report.
In the early hours of the 28th of May, 2020, news broke that shocked the staff and friends of the Niger Delta Development Commission, and indeed Niger Deltans and Nigerians at large. It was the death of Honorable Ibanga Basi Etang, the former Executive Director of Finance and Administration of the NDDC, where he served for 212 days. He was said to have died of complications from COVID-19. Late Chief Ibanga Basi Etang was committed to Mother Earth on Friday the 28th of August 2020 at a funeral service held in his honor at Shelter Afrique Estate Playground in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, while abiding and taking all government's directives and protocols on COVID-19 into account. The funeral service had grieving family members, associates, friends and those whose lives he touched in his brief but eventual life. At the funeral service, Bishop Gideon Egger of the New Birth Bible Church admonished those left behind by the late Etang to apply God's wisdom in all that they do and enjoined all to live according to the precept of Christ as exemplified by the former EDFA.
We are here and we have seen. What should we do? Let's apply wisdom. Let's apply wisdom and live according to the word of God.
It was an open church service that included high praise and worship, Bible reading, singing and special prayers for the family, which culminated in a small procession to the graveside for interment at the late Ibanga Etang family house in Afrique Shelter Estate in Uyo local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Late Ibanga Etang, an independent-minded leader and seasoned administrator whose demise affected several of NDDC's operations designed to meet its various obligations to the staff of the Commission, service providers, as well as the Niger Delta region.
Yes, it did affect operations because you know that there were issues that only the EDFA and the EDP needed to do, especially with the central bank, as regards domiciliary account payments with respect to students who are on scholarship. So his demise actually stopped that process.
The late EDFA was a hard-working and passionate administrator whose drive was to see to the rebranding and redirecting of the Niger Delta Development Commission for better service delivery to the people of the Niger Delta. His exemplary performance within the short period he held sway as the EDFA at the NDDC is unparalleled.
He came and did what a lot of people could not do. He came at the time we had serious challenges, and he came head on to make sure that these challenges were overcome.
For the short period that he was in the commission, a lot of things were changed administratively. As the Executive Director of Finance and Administration, he came in and promotions that were not done was done by him. Areas of backlogs of promotions that were not even done over the years. And then he also elevated a good number of staff.
He was a bridge builder in the executive management and also within our ranks as directors. It was so close to us. You know, being in charge of administration, his style cut across, high and low. He was able to get whatever he needed because he was close to the people he was in charge of.
The late acting EDFA of the NDDC was a man of compassion who believed in giving everyone an equal opportunity to excel. Paying tribute to the late EDFA, some close associates said that the untimely demise of Honorable Ibanga has left a vacuum that would be difficult to fill in his family, the Niger Delta Commission, Akwa Ibom State and the country at large.
He came within a short space of time. He left a legacy of goodwill. He left a legacy of performance. He was a man of conviction. Whenever he was convinced about an issue, he would pursue it to the letter.
So we are going to miss him, and a man that I believe that would have contributed his part, would have brought his wealth of experience both in the private sector and even in the public sector as a chairman of a local government. His legacies are there in Esereke. You cannot erase his legacy as a chairman of Esereke. They are there for us to see in Esereke. So I believe that he would have brought that same passion, that same energy to bear in the office of Executive Director of Finance in NDDC. So we are going to miss him there, and we are going to miss his administrative acumen.
Away from that sad note, it was not all gloomy at the NDDC last week, as there was some cheery news. The Federal Executive Council FEC meeting, chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, approved the funding of the forensic audit exercise of the NDDC. The approval of the commission, they say, lays to rest the many allegations surrounding the appointment of the forensic auditors and how the exercise is to be funded, as you will find out in this report.
The Federal Executive Council meeting has approved the sum of 722.3 million naira for 8 forensic field auditors appointed to review and examine the records and activities of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) from its inception in 2001 to date, as ordered by the President on October the 17th, 2019. The decision to fund the audit exercise was taken at the virtual Federal Executive Council FEC meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 26th of August 2020. The payment for the exercise, according to the Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, Chief Godswill Akpabio, will come directly from the Presidency, as the National Assembly is on break and the 2020 budget of the NDDC is yet to be passed.
We thank Mr. President for not just the will, but for also undertaking to ensure the funding to make sure that this exercise comes to fruition, because it will benefit not just the Niger Delta people, but it will benefit Nigerians, and it will also give direction to a lot of agencies of government, such as the Northeast Development Commission, so that the modalities will be well set out.
The appointment of the forensic auditors was one of the allegations and accusations which pitched both houses of the National Assembly committees on NDDC against the Interim Management Committee of the NDDC. It will be recalled that at both the public hearings of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee probing the NDDC and the House of Representatives Committee conducting investigative hearing into the activities of the NDDC over a period, the Supervising Minister of the Niger Delta Development Commission, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Acting Managing Director of the NDDC, Professor Kemebradikumo Ponde, were asked to explain whose responsibility it was to hire, negotiate the cost, and pay for the forensic auditors appointed to audit the NDDC, among many other allegations.
The NDDC cannot choose who audits the NDDC. It is done at the level of the presidency. The process went through BPP and a lead forensic auditor was appointed, and the Federal Executive Council approved that lead forensic auditor who has started work. They also approved how much should be paid. So the idea of forensic auditors, how much they are paid, it is not the duty of, if we are the ones choosing forensic auditors, I could choose my friend. It's not the minister that's choosing, it's the Federal Executive Council, chaired by the President of Nigeria.
So the Act clearly says that it is the agency that is paying that must do the procurement. All the letters to Bureau of Public Procurement came to the went straight from the NDDC to the Bureau of Public Procurement.
With the peculiar funding arrangement, as already approved by the Federal Executive Council, to pay the auditors directly from the presidency, the NDDC says it is grateful to Mr. President and the Supervising Minister of the NDDC, Godswill Akpabio, for matching their words with action. With the auditors' funding challenges now settled, the IMC has pledged to accelerate the tempo of work for the forensic audit of the Commission as ordered by Mr. President. In the same vein, the NDDC has also expressed its gratitude to the President and the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Akpabio, for the appointment of Mr. Effiong Akwa as the new Acting Executive Director of Finance and Administration, EDFA, of the Commission, a development they say would regularize all bottlenecks that aroused between the Commission and the Central Bank of Nigeria as a result of the death of the former late EDFA, Chief Ibanga Bassi Etang. The IMC statement, which is titled, "Thank you, Mr. President," also informed that the payment of fees and stipends to the Niger Delta students on foreign scholarships have now commenced, even as they reiterated their commitment to continue with its mission to reposition and restructure the Commission to ensure that the mandate of fast-tracking the development of the Niger Delta region is achieved.
One can confidently say now that the forensic audit of the NDDC has reached an irreversible course, and it is hoped that at the end of the exercise, the Niger Delta and its over 20 million people will begin to witness the much-needed development of the region for which the NDDC was set up to achieve. Now, moving on. In the 1950s and 60s and up till the early 70s, agriculture used to be the mainstay of the Nigerian economy, and indeed in the Niger Delta region. Its soil could and can still produce almost anything. But with the discovery of oil and the oil boom witnessed from the early 70s, oil became a major player in the world economy and in Nigeria. The Niger Delta, with its numerous oil wells, became a major supplier of the commodity. Sadly, agriculture was relegated to the background, and the region where food was supposed to be in abundance is now in a near-luck situation. But the NDDC is trying to bring back the glory days of agriculture in the Niger Delta with its investment, which seeks to revamp the production of one of the commodities that is a staple food in nearly every home in the country: rice.
The Niger Delta Development Commission is 20 years in the making, and since its inception, the NDDC, under different boards and management, has worked tirelessly to reboost the different sectors of agriculture production and training over 15,666 youths, women and farmers across the Niger Delta region.
They assisted us in building a complete processing mill for us.
The view of the Commission is to make agribusiness become another mainstay of the people of the Niger Delta if well harnessed. According to the NDDC, the program will in turn guarantee food sufficiency in the region and beyond, and also create massive employment opportunities for the jobless youths of the region. One target area of the Commission's mechanized agro-development intervention is the NDDC Rice Production Initiative for the region. The plan brought about the setting up of a rice processing mill by the Commission, a bold step embarked to see that the rice program in the Niger Delta succeeds. This is the NDDC 6 tons per hour ultra-modern rice mills factory in Elele, Alimini in Emoha local government area of Rivers State. The rice mill, they say, is meant to accelerate the dream of the NDDC in her rice production initiative in the region, knowing well that it is one thing to invest in rice farms or encourage other farmers to grow rice, but a different ballgame when it comes to processing and packaging to meet up with the required standard. In 2018, the NDDC rice mill in Elele, Alimini, Rivers State was leased for a period of 20 years to a private firm known as Elephant Group for its proper management on behalf of the Commission. To stay on track with the original plan of the NDDC rice farming program under the Professor Keme Bradikumo Ponde-led Interim Management Committee IMC, the NDDC said it has reintroduced the 10 billion naira rice farming program as supported by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) into the 2020 budget of the Commission to boost agriculture and create jobs for the teeming youths of the Niger Delta region. The rice program is, however, expected to engage a minimum of 5,000 outgrower farmers that will be supported through the NDDC Intervention Fund to provide the needed input for the mill to keep running. Speaking recently after an inspection of the multi-billion naira NDDC rice mill, the Commission's Acting Executive Director Projects, Dr. Cairo Ojugbo, said that the facility has a production capacity of 24 tons per hour.
At completion, it is 24 tons per hour, but as of today, it is 6 tons. But if we had been allowed to run the program we intended to run, the 24 tons per hour would have been achieved.
Dr. Ojugbo, who was accompanied by the NDDC Director of Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Duje Week, noted that the Commission had proposed to go into rice farming in the Niger Delta region in its 2019 budget. He regretted that the NDDC budget for 2019 could not achieve the Commission's target for agricultural development because the provisions, the CBN Anchor Borrowers Program, were removed.
The Commission, in the last year's budget, 2019 budget, we proposed to go into rice farming with the Anchor Borrowers Program in the Niger Delta. So we procured farmers everywhere and they were ready. So, and we have projected, CBN had allocated 10 billion for the project. But when the budget came, the two chairmen in the National Assembly, they removed the 10 billion. And today, the wetland and the marshland of the Niger Delta is lying fallow. This is what would have created employment for our farmers, for our youth.
Dr. Cairo Ojugbo appealed to President Muhammadu Buhari to prevail on the National Assembly not to distort the NDDC 2020 budget so that agricultural programs that would benefit the people were not truncated.
We have put it back in the 2020 budget and we are appealing to Mr. President, to all well-meaning Nigerians, so that these two chairmen do not interfere with our budget in 2020.
According to Ojugbo, another program that suffered a setback was the $129.17 million Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprise Program in the Niger Delta, Life ND, driven by Nddc in partnership with the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD.
The projects that they removed in the budget that has caused a lot of problem for the Niger Delta, they include this Anchor Borers program, they include the IFAD agricultural project, which we had to pay partnership with IFAD, and our partnership, the National Assembly removed it completely.
The administration and station manager of the Elephant Group, Mr. Olabode Ojo, said that the company had spent over 2 billion naira retrofitting the rice mill to meet the needs of the market.
And presently now, as we are still doing 6 tons per hour, we are moving forward to increase it to 12 tons per hour. So at the end of the year, we'll be processing like 50 tons paddy per year. That is our plan.
Mr. Ojo further appealed to the federal government and the Nddc to assist the rice mill by encouraging outgrower farmers that will be growing paddy rice in the Niger Delta region. According to him, this will create jobs for the youths in the region.
What we want government to do for us is to look seriously into the area of farming in every area, every zone, not only in South, so that we'll be able to have more material.
There is no doubt that if the Nddc rice mill operates at full capacity, the price of the commodity will become affordable, as well as provide the much-needed employment opportunities for the teeming youths of the Niger Delta and indeed rice farmers. For some weeks now, the Nddc has been in the eyes of the storm with barrages of allegations and criticisms of the Commission not achieving any meaningful impact in the development of the Niger Delta. But has it always been so? Today, as we have done in the past few weeks, we'll take a look back at some Nddc commissioned and ongoing projects in Akwa Ibom State.
The Niger Delta Development Commission has brought smiles to the staff, students and entire people of the University of Uyo with the construction of the university main entrance road. The scope of work includes a 1.242 kilometer double lane and a 1.5 kilometer single lane road, both 8 meters wide with drains. The site clearing, earthworks and sub-base are 100% complete. The stone base is 90% complete. The concrete drain is 40%, while the culverts and asphalt are 30% and 20% respectively complete. The construction of this university road has in no small measure brought massive relief to the students and all those who use the road. Speaking on the positive impact the construction of the road has had on the institution, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Uyo said he's extremely encouraged by the road construction, as it will be of immense benefit to the university community when complete. Describing the condition of the road leading into the University of Uyo before now as very poor, the Director of Physical Planning of the institution, Architect Abassi, just like Oliver Twist, urged the Nddc to do more. The project consultant, engineer Patrick Anizaba, while acknowledging the peaceful environment in which they have been allowed to work, as well as the support from the university community, said upon completion, the road will alleviate the sufferings of the students and other road users. The construction of the Insasak Junction at Akon Road from Esim Udim local government area in Akwa Ibom State to Abia State is over 60% complete. The 30-kilometer road, when completed, is expected to be the shortest route from Akwa Ibom to River State through Aba in Abia State. The project manager, Engineer Gabriel Oboti, who gave a detailed account of the work done so far on the road, said when completed, the road will run through 3 local government areas in Akwa Ibom State and terminate in Abia State. Work is at an advanced stage on the 60-meter span bridge that will connect the 2 states, and when completed, this will allow for easy movement of vehicles, people and farm produce between the 2 states and environment, and thereby reduce the risk involved in the use of boats to cross the river. Some other road users, already enjoying the completed sections of the road, thanked the Nddc for constructing the road, which has helped to shorten the time spent in moving from one community to the other. The Insasak Akon Road in Akwa Ibom State, which is expected to be completed soon, will certainly boost the socio-economic activities among the various adjoining communities and indeed Akwa Ibom and Abia states.
The beneficiaries of those projects, I guess, will find it very difficult to say that the Nddc has not made any meaningful impact in their lives over these years. It is our hope that the Commission will continually show commitment to their mandate of developing the region within the resources available to it to do so. Well, we've come to the end of today's program. We look forward to seeing you again, same time and next week. On behalf of the Nddc Today production crew, it's goodbye.